welcome to Magical Maiden's Jewelry Tutorials. Okay, so today what I have for you is another cat dye jewelry tutorial. Not making earrings this time. So if you didn't see my last one, I made these cute cat earrings with some cat dyes that I recently purchased from Amazon. And I'll be putting the link below to these cat dyes. You get a few, I'm just putting some more on. You get a few in a package, different ones, and you have to take them apart. And if you didn't watch my last one, watch it, because you have to take them apart and mess with that. And then once you do that, I'll show you the process. When I made my last tutorial making these cute cat earrings, unfortunately, the part where I was cutting it out didn't show up. But this time I'm going to make sure my camera's on. I think the last time I thought it was on and it wasn't. So I'm going to make sure this time. If you don't have one, you should get yourself a die cutting machine. This is a Sizzix Big Shot, I believe. Big Shot, but it's a Sizzix. They have different kinds. I have to turn it around because this has a crank. See, there's a crank, but they do have motorized ones. Those, of course, are going to be more money, but if you have arthritis or a problem with being able to crank anything, then you can get a motorized one. Okay. So, now you get these two pieces of plexiglass. They won't crack, but you will hear like a crunching or a cracking sound. That's normal. Another thing you're going to need, they give you a platform. They also give you another platform in case you need it. It's different, depending what you need to reach it. Also, you can get these self-healing cutting mats. And the reason why you would use these, okay, this helps your die cuts to stay sharp, because they'll get dull over time, but if you use a self-healing cutting mat, it won't. And I got this at the Dollar Tree, and there was 2 per package. You might have to trim it slightly on the side so it can fit, but other than that, so, and then you get this thing. It's just another platform. Okay. And you get 2 of these plexiglass. So I have the big platform they give you. See, it's thick. Because sometimes, if you don't have a big piece to cut it on. Now these will see, this one's a little warped from constantly going in and out of the machine. That's a quick fix. You get some really warm water, or not boiling hot, but hot or warm, and let it soak in there for about an hour or 2. It'll put it right back into shape, so that you don't have to keep purchasing them, even though they're really cheap at the Dollar Tree for 2 of them, okay? So, now the next thing you're going to do, and I have to get this out of the way, so I'll put that over here. This is the die cut I'm going to use, okay? Now it has a sharp side. That's where the cutting part is. Sorry. It has a sharp side. That's where the cutting part is. And then it has a dull side. You're going to put it sharp side down. Now we have to have both sides usually. If you're going to make a pair of earrings, you have to do 2 sides. One side you'd put it down here, and then the next time through you'd go like this, and then you can match up the sides, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm putting it here. This is a piece of cardstock, okay? I'm going to show you the whole thing, if it could fit in the camera. It comes about this size, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's a 12 by 12 size piece of card. This is glitter cardstock. They have all colors, and then they even have the thinner one. Now you could use vinyl glitter, but it's a lot thicker, and sometimes your die cut won't cut through. But it's good for tracing. Like, it'll make a good embossed impression, so that then you can trim around it if that's not a problem for you. So if you really must use the vinyl glitter. And this was only $1.99 at Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby always has sales, especially on Paper Studio products, they have like 70 to 60 to 50 to 30 to 20 and so on percent off at any given time. So just check that. But they're reasonably affordable, messing with that. So now you're putting it face down with the sharp edge down. Now I'm putting this part over it, and then I'm going to position it, and now I'm going to crank it. And then you hold the top and wait for it to come out the other side. Now you can do this 2-3 times. Go in reverse, go forward, just to make sure it goes through. But if you don't worry about it. You could just do it once. That's just what I do. So now it should just pop out on here, see? And it leaves that cutout of the kitty, because that's the way the kitty's gonna look. So now it's gonna be on your die cut. So what you do is you could take a crafting tool or a toothpick or, you know, whatever you need to take. I have a crafting tool. I got this at the Dollar Tree. It has a thick end and a thin end. And just poke it out like that. It'll come out, see? Now sometimes die cuts have holes and you have to poke it, but this one didn't. So there's the little kitty. Okay, now they have bigger die cuts. I wanted bigger, but this had the combination of certain style of kitties I wanted, and unfortunately it wasn't as big as I wanted, and I knew that going in. Always look at the dimensions when you order. And again, I'll be putting the links to these cat die cuts below this video in the description box. So when you're done, go ahead and check that link out. It's on Amazon, and I list all the things you'll need for this project, okay? And I got this Sizzix Big Shot at Hobby Lobby. My husband bought it last year for my birthday. So there it is, this beautiful little cute kitty. Okay, but the back is going to be white. So let's do this again. Get my platforms. Now we're going to do this in reverse. We're going to put the glitter side down, and we're going to put this over there. So now try to use up as much of your paper, and try not to waste, because especially if you want to make if you're frequently making a lot of them, this way you have enough cardstock and you don't use it all up. Okay, so here we go. So you have to guide it in a little, crank it. You might have to use a little pressure. And again, I like to go back and forth to make sure it goes through. Otherwise, you got to spend some time pushing it out, punching it out of the cardstock. Okay. You want to be gentle so you don't rip any pieces. And there, it came off. Or you can use your crafting tool or whatever you're using for that, okay? So now save this, because you could always use it because there's plenty and you don't want to waste it. Okay, so now I have the two halves, and that'll be the front and that'll be the back, and I have to glue that, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of the white on the edge, just like I did if you watch just like I did if you watched my earring tutorial using these cat dots. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay, so before we turn this into a necklace, the first thing we want to do is glue this. So we're going to take a toothpick. Make sure you have a paper towel or something, and get some clear E6000 glue. And I'm going to put the die cut over here. We don't need that. We could put that away prior to doing this. I like to clear my working station so that use my magnifying. So now we're just going to get a little bit of the E6000 glue. And then later we'll clear the webs because E6000 glue tends to make little webs, kind of like a glue gun. So now you just want to take a little bit and you want to go along the tail as carefully and as slowly as you can. And then, but don't worry because we can slide it to match up the two ends, the two sides. And then once you do that, you're going to go like this. And this is why you're going to press it. So then you're going to go and you're going to press it. This is why I say don't put too much, because when you press it, then it'll ooze out. You could still clean it up, but okay. And that's what it's going to look like, both sides. But now we have a white outline. And we don't want that. You notice it more when you're using the black cardstock. Okay. I'm doing this right now to show you. And then just go along all the edges where the white is showing. Now you probably want a thin one so that you can get in the grooves. Okay? So I'm going to let this dry with the glue, and then I'm going to finish doing this. Then your fingers are going to end up getting this stuff on. So what I suggest is that you wash your hands with warm soap and water, dry them, then use some rubbing alcohol. That gets rid of any Sharpie on your skin, on furniture, on material. If you get it on your shirt or shorts or pants, just a little rubbing alcohol on a paper towel takes this off. Then go wash your hands again with soap and water after that. So that's just a tip. It's not going to be on your fingers forever. So I'm going to let this dry, then I'm going to go along the edges, and then I'm going to come back. So what I did was I glued a sequence, and you can get these packages for 99 cents of the sequence. This isn't iridescent. It comes in a mixture. I've shown this many times if you want to look at my jewelry tutorial playlist. My jewelry tutorial playlist where I show you all the sequences I got. It's just a video of all the sequences and the ideas you can make. So that's a sequence. Now I could put one on the other side as well, but I just glued it with a little bit. But if you really want to make it strong, because it's going to be a chain on either side, and you don't want that to pull off. So you really just use a toothpick and use very little. I want to have him hooked up, so you can do that, and then a chain here. So I've got two small jump rings, they're 4 millimeter, but thin. So now what I'm going to do is make a hole in the cat's butt, but not too close to the edge. I do not want to rip it. So very slowly, you might want to use a pin instead of a push pin. A needle would be best. That's what I mean by pin, like a needle, you know. But I did this, be very careful. So now I'm going to hook this up. Again, you got to be careful when you're using a smaller item, and you could probably make the hole in the paw and put a jump ring through it too with the needle, but you know, it's very iffy because it isn't a thick paw. Okay, so I'm going to gently, because I don't want to rip anything. My hands are all full of magic marker, nail polish from earlier. Now I'm going to add more to this chain, and I'm probably going to cut some and add beads later on, but I just wanted to show you this. I've hooked that to the butt. As you see, you find a position that you would like it, whether it be higher or lower. And then, and look, if you wanted it on this side, you could. So now I'm gonna go put the jump ring, and I'm gonna gently do it because normally, like I said, you give it a half an hour for that glue to dry. So that's what I have so far. Now I'm going to, I have a long piece here and a short piece here, but there's a reason for that, because I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so I'm looking for a design here. So what I'm gonna do now is I cut the chain, but I'm gonna add a few jump rings in between as a little design. You can do whatever you want for that. These are 6mm jump rings, and then I'm gonna get a clasp, of course, and then do all that. Okay, so what I did was I had a piece of chain, and it's about 4 inches. You can, to your preference. Then I put, and you'll have to excuse the noise in the background, I put 4 jump rings on either side, then more chain, again about 4 inches, and then 7 jump rings. Now I'm going to add an 8th jump ring on either side because it's 7, and then I'm going to add a clasp. Now you can use any kind you have. I prefer lobster claws, but I have this round one. I'm going to use this. So I have that. Now I'm going to try it on, see how I like the way it looks. So here it is. The necklace with the jump rings on either side. I put 4 jump rings on either side. And look how cute it is. I don't have it hanging too tight on my neck, so it's not like a choker, but it's not like a choker, but it's more like a necklace. And there it is. I'm gonna move so you can see, and it's all the glittery and sparkle, and it's very cute. And then when you add a sequence, it's not going to be so heavy, because originally I was going to add a bead, but then that would make it, not sit correct. And you want it to sit correct. I've got Sharpie all over my fingers, but because you want to do the edge. But remember, I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol that gets it out. And so it adds a cute design when you add some jump rings. You can do that lower if you want. I wanted it over there. So there it is, the cute little cat necklace. And you can hang it as low as you want or as short as you want. I just wanted you to have that look of it and see it. And I'll get a little closer to the light, and it will shine and shimmer, and that's the iridescent sequence. And that's an iridescent sequence, so that makes it look cuter. But you can use whatever you want. If you prefer to use a bead, then go ahead, but they do have a cutout for a ball in the die cuts. It's small, and they attach it within the cats, and you have to just take everything apart. Please give this a like, and if you did, remember to give it a like and try it and see how that sparkles when you move around in the light. So here it is. I finished it. I could have hung it on my necklace holder, but I wanted you to see it, and the necklace holder is that black velvet, so I put it on a white piece cardboard for you to see. And that's the design I made, and you can go ahead and do it any way you want. And that was the back. I put 8 jump rings. It's reversible, like I showed you on the other side. You will see the paw that I glued. I went with gluing. It's strong. Just make sure that you use E6000 jewelry glue. Make sure that it's dry. Don't mess around with it until it's actually at least a half an hour. You want to wait for 30 minutes to pass. So that's it. It's very sparkly, and I'm trying to show you in the best light. It's pretty dark out right now. It's going to rain, so just wanted to show you that. And there it is, a cute cat necklace.